happening, world? I'm not sure if anyone's watching, so I should be able to get some eyes and stuff from people. But I'm gonna. Sorry for the slightly tardy start to the show. I'm gonna be trying to link with some other people via Skype while they're trying to remember their passwords and stuff. But until that point, I'm gonna play some music. I don't want to keep people waiting no more. You know what I mean? Here comes a little bit of that music. I believe I'm online on YouTube. Not sure how many people are watching, but as the stuff builds up, we're gonna get more and more people up in the chat and so forth, and let people, yeah, settle in. But I won't even talk too much until I can get this thing all sorted out. I'm gonna start with a couple of numbers. Mm-hmm. Let's get this popping, popping, popping. I'm still getting to grips with all of this, these buttons and stars, which have been various. I'm actually happy that I can't see. Oh, there's 15 people watching now. It's beautiful. Gonna hopefully get more interactive as the show goes on. But let me get on with playing some music. I hope that everyone can hear me. Comments aren't activated yet. I can't tell. But I feel the audience's presence. I feel all 15 of you tuned in, are ready for some action. Let's go. Boom. I'm gonna try switching mics first before I do that. Still communicating with John D, who's trying to get his Skype connection hooked up. But I'm going to take a tiny little break and play a live looped vibe. If any of you feeling like a dub vibe right now, then that's very much the spirit that I created this next piece in. So, yeah, man. Bear with me. Trust me, the more of these I do, the more seamless the transitions between tracks will be. But until that point, stick with me, people. It's about to go down. Honest, totally is. It's going down very shortly. Right now. tell, I've been enjoying myself immensely. What is going on with this microphone camera setup? There we go. I've been enjoying myself a huge amount over the past week, just making a whole lot of music at home. But if you're like me, you've been watching the news, listening to bits of information, and trying to negotiate the difficult path between panic and reason. You know, using the opportunities that we have to meditate, to take more time out, to think about the reasons why we do the things that we do. But also, it's impossible not to notice, pardon my French, but the clusterfuckery that is the management of this COVID-19 crisis. We're all at home, we're all locked down, and gradually they're trying to, blame us, the people, more and more for their own mishandling of the situation. So I'm gonna chat through a couple of things, a few little clips that I've seen recently, but I'd also like to engage my brother Johnsy. I believe he tried to call, so I'm gonna call him in about 5 minutes. I'm also exhorting you guys, if you're on the Facebook group, to add the Ecamm app so that you can interact with me live in the comments very shortly. That's going to be really, really dope. I want to have some live comment freestyle stuff, and if that works, it's definitely something I want to roll out in future weeks. I want to start also as well by thanking everyone that bought tickets for last week. All you freeloaders are in here for free this week. It's all good because the sound was kind of dodgy, and I'm going to have to make it up to everyone that really supported me last Monday. It's obviously a challenging time for me as an artist, but I'm also struck. It's just so humbling to know that, boy, I play the saxophone and I'll still be able to play the saxophone. There are a lot of people who are being sent into the trenches virtually with no musket, just being sent into the front line with absolutely no safety. So these are a few things that I've noticed recently, and it feels as though, I'm not going to remark on the Queen too much because people love Lizzie, don't they? I get that. But it seems that we're being sort of hypnotized or lulled into a sense of like patriotism and clapping and doing the right thing, doing our part, which is everything except holding the government to account or actually dealing with the substantive issues during a health crisis. I want to flash back to a little moment during the 2019 general election. It's something that frequently replays in my mind, but do check it out and I'll talk about it afterwards. This is Brother Boris. Actually, someone's about to...
It's probably 5 years too early for her at the moment.
Jeremy Corbyn?
Again, I like his strength and his commitment. I'm not sure I'm a Labour voter, but I do like some of the cut-through ideas, like scrapping student fees, some of the nationalisations.
Okay. Just to say, we're showing pictures of Boris Johnson. He's in a fish market in Grimsby, because that's the kind of thing that politicians do in the last few days, isn't it? Anything that will get them a clip on the 6 o'clock news. Chris, what do you want to say about fish?
These last 72 hours is all about those big photo opportunities. And for a politician who aspires to carry on as Prime Minister or to become Prime Minister, to be seen in a fish market with a cod in her hand, that is the money shot. You're going to see that on social media and on the TV bulletins for the rest of the day. You will not be able to escape that picture.
You will not be able to escape that picture. Because they'll make sure they won't be able to escape that picture, or they'll keep bombarding us with nonsense and pantomime. And what we're looking at is really the transformation of what was politics previously into sort of X Factor for ugly people. It's all a personality contest, and if, just looking at the way the Labour leadership, or certainly Jeremy Corbyn's tenure has gone, it's seen the diminution of everything he tried to push forward, which is policy over waffle, actual substantial policies. And now we're in the age of personality. I think it's going to take us even more time to work out the consequences of all this, but these are just some of the thoughts that have been swirling around in my head. Also, those numbers of people who were just so keen to start berating socialism already, in the middle of a crisis. I'm going to play you this from Rula Khalef, who's the editor of the Financial Times. Nothing personal, I just found it really interesting. This is a couple of weeks ago on the Andrew Marr show.
There will be people after this crisis who will argue that this model of government is the right model, and that you do need big government, and that socialism works. And what he says is you have to be careful, because that is not the case. This is a global health emergency, and the state does have to intervene, and intervene in such a big way. But we shouldn't get lost here. And it's important to keep in mind that this is not about markets failing, and this is not about capitalism failing.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Well, that's clear. Just absolutely making sure, because Rula said it, that there's absolutely nothing wrong with capitalism.
After this crisis, who will argue that this...
As you can see, Rula's very, very keen to show us all that really it's nothing to do with capitalism. It's all just an accident, I guess. And I guess these are preemptive strikes, just getting ahead of any attempts, I guess, by people to point out what's very obvious flaws in the government's reasoning and the government's approach. And if you needed any proof, it's just look at Germany's relative infections due to fatalities and realize that, well, this is just because of a well-funded health service and the fact that people are taxed properly. No wonder there have been these preemptive attacks on Cuban doctors going around the world and healing people. And it's just really worth keeping an eye on what's really happening around the world at this time. As they say, it's often a good time to bury bad news or to do difficult things. And at this very moment in time, Venezuela... Guaido is seeking to oust Maduro finally. So it's really important to know that these crises are just opportunities for some people. No one more so than our very own chummy Jacob Rees-Mogg, guys. Mr. Common Sense, the guy who told us all that he would have left his building in Grenfell because he's not as stupid as us ordinary folk. But here we go. Jacob Rees-Mogg's investment firm set to make a fortune from the corona crisis. A once or twice in a generation opportunity to make supernormal returns. And if that doesn't let you know how callous and uncaring as current government is, then I don't know what will. Fully understand that there are lots of people who don't want to go on the front foot at this moment, who don't really feel it's appropriate while people are dying. But this is precisely the time to be political. This is the time to recognize that the very decisions that are made by people in power have an impact on whether you live or die. And that's not flippant. It's not about scoring party political points. This is about 40 years of underfunding the NHS, and the consequences of it are being laid bare. We mustn't allow these people to get away with this. So as you can see, if you've been on my Insta and so forth, I've done a little bit of a track. Yeah, this was really just some thoughts, not even fully condensed and congealed thoughts, but just some ideas. And I'm hopefully going to talk to my brother John Z D about these very bars and this information very, very shortly. So this is called We See You.
Police from piling up. They don't want me checked, so I'm not on the death registry. Is this ostensibly why they're not testing me? For 3 years past. Hey, 1 2 1 2. Let's go. Hey, but 1 2 what? They said keep sweeping toilets, driving trucks, but neoliberal dogma won't stop bodies from piling up. They don't want me checked, so I'm not on the death registry. Is this ostensibly why they're not testing me? For 3 years past, the NHS has needed CPR, so now we see who they claim to be, who they really are. Now bolt the doors and lock your homes. The Rees-Mogg stock just rose. We're all in this together till you're on your own. We see you, yep, we really see you. We see the trails of the receipts from the elites that feed you. We see you, yeah, these people venal. You'd rather keep your seat with evil than heal the people. Yeah, we really see you. We see the trails of their receipts from the elites that feed you. These people venal. You'd rather keep your seat with evil than heal the people. January seems so different today. Back then it was just yellow people in some distant place. Hugging and kissing's just Italy's way. We're plucky, herd immunized Brits. We're a different race. Hooray, so your racism's filling up graves. We see you demonizing, so we won't point the finger of blame. They said they're following the medical advice. So who gives up if some extra pensioners die? Probably best to text to tell them goodbye. Funny how the ones dying are the poor and the melanin types. Maybe they want to teach us that there is no different system. Why get PPE when we got hand-wringing and symbolism? See, we're the cleverest. We're the exceptional ones. We don't need ventilator schemes. We're getting Brexit done. Done. Getting done. We see you. We really see you. We see the trails of them receipts from the elites that feed you. We see you. Yep, these people venal. You'd rather keep your seat with evil than heal the people. It's unlikely they might treat you in the ICU as well. Poor people have life needs too. This crisis might be the first time that eyes have seen you, because the virus doesn't discriminate. But these do. Thought they might slow their attacks on us. Thought they would be magnanimous. But it's just madness and animus. I guess they just pray we don't turn the cameras and see they lied for our votes and happily abandoned us. Billionaires and the crypto fascists, no excuse when the system crashes. They take the truth and they twist it backwards. They could have invested, but the cash is addictive. The herd immunity strategy made no actual difference. It was you having a picnic. That's what did this. My brother John Z D very, very shortly. But I want to make sure that everything is working just okay. A-okay. So bear with me. I'm going to try and put in a call right now to John Z and let's see if this works. Boom. Try with the video. Just for anyone using Ecamm, a little feedback. Things do work a bit slower when you're when you're connecting and you're streaming. Your computer works a little slower. Maybe that's just me though. Could be. We are ringing. All right, he's unavailable right now. We're gonna try him again right now. We've texted to and fro. Sorry for the. There we go. For the long things. Getting there. We're getting there. Hello, hello.
Getting there.
Oh yeah. Jeez. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's try. Oh, I see you, bro. We're connected.
Oh, excellent,
We're totally
dude.
connected.
It was. I felt like a Luddite for a second, dude.
Definitely, man. We're getting our granddad.
Don't I
vibe
know
on
how
that,
these things?
I'm just gonna plug in my headphones so there's not any sound issues. People had some difficulty hearing me last week, so bear with me.
Okay.
Man. 1 2 1 2. I believe I'm live and direct. Check, check. The birds are singing. It sounds beautiful where you are, brother. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Sweet.
I'm trying to look. I'm listening out for these birds you're talking about.
Or maybe it was
yes,
just,
I can hear them. Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
What? Have all the birds died from 5G in Birmingham?
There's no birds left. Well, we could start there, really. I didn't get a chance to chop up with you what kind of conversation we'll have, but there's obviously a lot of conspiracy theory flying about, and it's just sort of too early to rule it out altogether or to certainly dive into the rabbit hole fully. The conspiracy theory that I'm sure you've seen and a lot of people have is this idea that 5G or the rollout of 5G is causing radiation poisoning, and it's part of a nefarious plot of our governments to basically make money at our expense if it kills a few people. Now, do I put it past them? No, I don't. But no, I don't know what your feeling is around it.
Well, I think this has never happened before. Yeah, there's been pandemics in the past, but they've never been global in the same way. And it does make me question, is it global because of media or is it global?
Many things have been global. Polio, cholera, typhoid. There are things that are global now that are just aren't on the radar. So I don't say it couldn't be just a viral pandemic. You know, let's not.
So, sorry, did you just say something was global? What was global?
Loads of things. AIDS, for goodness sakes. I'm not. And again, like, this doesn't rule out the fact that these things could be man-made. You know, it's not precluding that idea.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is they are very real viruses. So I'm struggling to get my face on the camera.
So cholera, so stuff like cholera affected like Australia and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know.
The whole world. India. There's nowhere that hasn't had to deal with these viral epidemics, and then it's about what these countries do, you know, in the aftermath in terms of health provision. But I've definitely been thinking something in relation, now that Jeremy Corbyn's tenure as Labour leader's happened. A big epiphany I had is that really before he was leader, the sort of conversations you and I would have, or lots of people would have, would be in the realm of conspiracy theory. Is in the land of like reptilians and Illuminati and
5G, and we don't know who powerful is.
Not quite.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll come back into that. But the thing that his leadership has really shown me is that we don't need lizard beings or reptilians running the world. You can see the cabal. You can see the elite running stuff, and it's all about money. It's nothing as stupendous as flying dragon skeleton worshipping Illuminati. And
well,
whatever the analysis coming up of this, go ahead, bro.
Just to add to what you're saying, that it's the economic repercussions of this is why I'm a bit suspicious about what's going on. Do you know what I mean? It feels like the middle class are going to be decimated in this whole economic turnaround. You know what I mean? And if out of all the companies that I've been seeing that are promoting, Amazon, you know, they're hiring big time.
They're doing great. Yep.
Sainsbury's, they're hiring. You know what I mean? So it makes me question, you know, what effect these massive corporates are going to have with this in relation to the small businesses.
Absolutely. You're talking about the change in the whole nature of a workforce, really, and the way that we congregate going forward, you know, and we've obviously been reflecting as an artist, you know, somebody, if people at my audience don't know, the director of an incredible dance and arts festival, breaking convention, an international festival, so much of it, irrespective of the involvement of Sadler's Wells and various venues, is just about people congregating. That's the essence of hip hop and the essence of jazz.
Yeah.
You know, so how are we?
It's the essence of humanity, man.
Absolutely. That's not too hyperbolic to say. Like, we crave connection, we need connection, and communing in these ways, in dance, in music, theatre, in all these ways. They're really ancient. Football, they're really ancient ways, maybe less so football, but ancient ways of sport, definitely, of being involved with each other or reaching out for human connection. You know, how are we going to do that? Whilst I love the technology, I've basically been clicking on screens all day and trying to do things like contact you on Skype. It's not the same. So how do we appropriate the technology?
I'm bored of it.
Yeah.
It's a poor, it's never been an equivalent, ever. Do you know what I mean?
Nope.
And I just think that we're having to make do with this. But I don't know if it's going to be sustainable, not even for 2 months. I think people are going to start cracking cracking up like proper. Because I am already. Can't you see?
And we're relatively, let's face it, relatively privileged artists. I've signed various petitions and stuff going around, and we'll need support to continue the work that we're doing. But you know, it's something really humbling. As I started off the podcast by saying, really humbling about what really matters. Why do we do the things that we do? Why do people need music? And in the spirit of that, that's one of the things that I've been dropping tracks, that I've been just doing live streams with a view, yes, to supplementing some remuneration that's been lost, but mostly the gift, like just to remind people that this exists, this music is out here, this art is out here, and we can do it. One second.
Well, I have to say, the work that you're doing in particular, the recent bars that you've just done, you know, it's really engaging. And for someone like me, like your biggest fan, it's a real pleasure to be able to just hear you and hear your work, and a sense of, I mean, we need to make money, but there is something beautiful about these artists that are just opening their portals and just sharing with us some real intimate work, and that has been beautiful. What's that thing? The run, don't run. That thing where people put makeup, do this, and then they come out looking all nice.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've seen that. There's lots of creative responses. I've seen a lot of dance, actually. A lot of people at home just doing movement and like solo pieces. And the comedy, you know, really interesting things that. Of course, the way we interface with an audience is completely different, but there's more time to be measured and curate the experience that perhaps you want your listeners to have. So, you know, the stuff to embrace and stuff that's a challenge. You know, finally, one thing I wanted to explore with you, I see 2 paths opening up really clearly. There's either this greater connection, perhaps artist-led, certainly a greater spiritual connection between people, and a recognition that the weakest, the poorest among us need to be paid well for jobs that are essential. That's one outlook. The other outlook is overt fascism. It's what's happening in Hungary, Viktor Orban has just seized the reins of power. He's dictator now. He's not. Elections don't happen there anymore. The idea of a heavy police state, of an armed guard, and a sort of curtain twitcher culture that everyone grasses to the police, like if their neighbour's been out for a walk too long.
Yeah.
A creeping sort of fascism, a creeping,
Yeah.
And we saw flashes of the greed and the selfishness in the hoarding the toilet roll and the behaviour of people buying sanitizer. But which way do you see this going, and what can we do to prevent a slide into fascism?
I mean, I'd like to believe that the idea of sharing and I don't know, coming together and working with the few resources that we've got. Yeah. Now, if I look at it on a digital perspective, I can see that happening. Do you know what I mean? People are taking advantage of the digital world to create dance classes, all types of online classes, which people are actually signing up for and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. For me, I'm seeing a lot of hatred, dude.
Really?
It's the hatred that's bothering me. Yes, I see a lot of hatred online in relation to the way people are dealing with the trauma of what's happening now. And I think people are really fearful and they get mad if someone does come with some crazy conspiracy theory. Yeah.
So that's what
people have always had conspiracy.
Yeah. That's where you feel the hatred's coming from.
But the thing is,
go ahead.
The thing is, what I was going to say is people have always had conspiracy theories. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I just feel that the way people are responding to conspiracy theories now is with a fear and a fire that is becoming hateful.
Yeah. That's true. Everything's just sort of heightened. That's the thing that I'm seeing. And, when cognitive dissonance strikes, people start behaving in really weird ways. It's something I just posted before we spoke, but Rula Khalef, who's one of the editors at the Financial Times, and there are many others, these sort of centre-right people who've just been commentators in the media, getting these preemptive strikes out. Socialism isn't the way, Well, you don't want to be like Venezuela. As soon as the crisis has happened, like, people are dying. And I think their awareness that somehow their political system or their ideals, their belief in neoliberalism is to blame, that they just, the cognitive dissonance that draws up just makes them want to go attacking lefties randomly, just curse out Cuban doctors, just, how dare they come over here and heal people, or socialists, it's propaganda. And it's really just because a lens has been shone on all of the shortcomings that we're experiencing in this society.
That's right. And we all know about the most hypocritical clap in the world. You know what I mean? I've never seen the clap become a virus in that way. Damn. Everybody caught the clap at 8 o'clock at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking them same people that voted for who?
I know, man.
Anyway, we know all about that shit. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen an about turn about our precious NHS, you know what I mean? We love them now, right?
To see him snatch a phone out of a reporter's hand and stick it in his pocket. We all got to see, before the election, Boris Johnson just ignore the fact that children were sleeping on the hospital floor. So using your common sense, not as a pundit in the media or not with some vested interest in the outcome here, what do you think's happening right now in the NHS? You don't even need to have friends working, as I do, some clinicians and some doctors. I'm going to have to get an interview up with Brother Chima at some point, probably the only dope MC GP out there. But the fact of the matter is, well, certainly the only vociferously dope GP and MC. But we need, to really maintain scrutiny at this time, maintain a focus, a razor-sharp focus on this government, because they're trying to hypnotize us into a sense of just sleep, just literally hypnotize us. And the whole thing with the Queen and the language of Dunkirk and the little ships, and all of that may be true and it's good for national spirit and morale. But what national spirit have we got when who runs the state is just the marketplace? The marketplace, is who's in charge at this point, and it's kind of hard to deny that. So whether Mike Ashley or Tim, whose name I like to forget, from Weatherspoons, Whether or not they do the right thing, it's just up to them, or up to us and our level of ire if we protest what they're doing. But be sure there are hundreds of things happening behind our backs that later on we will come to discover exploitative uses of the crisis.
Oh my God, there's things happening in front of our faces. Dude, I wish I could turn this camera around. Yes, I can. There's about 5-6 people all walking together just down there. You just missed them.
You should have grasped them. Oh, I can see them in the corner. They're just there in the corner.
Do you see them?
Yeah.
So now what's interesting is that my instinct just there was like, oh, look at those. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'm not even exempt, man. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. There's it triggers a little inner snitch in all of us, and triggers also the fear, the panic. What hits in?
It's the fear. It's the panic. It's that. It's when we think about our elderly family members and stuff like that, and you know that they've got underlying health problems. You know what I mean? And all of these things just, when I go to the supermarket and somebody walks under 2 meters next to me, I'm looking at them as though to say, get the fuck, excuse me, sorry. Do you know what I mean?
Hip hop, baby.
But I'm looking at them, dude, I feel like cursing them. Do you know what I mean? But then I think to myself, come on, man, dude. My biggest concern right now is the way in which the public are relating to each other. And this idea of social distancing, I wonder if it's going to play mentally on us and make us distant from each other mentally. And that's my worry.
It's a very legitimate worry, something I've definitely been concerned with. And for days now, I've been saying the first thing I want to do is just run out and hug a stranger at some point in the near future. But just
anyone,
just to hug anyone. Right? But those are the things that, as artists, as creators, that I know we appreciate the value of connection, of community. And those are the things I think we're going to have to fight for going forward. Because easy to let fear do that to you and just be like, okay, somebody else needs to take charge, take care of us, and stop people from touching each other. Whereas the business that we're in is very much about those connections and collective action. It's then that you start to have, awakenings, and you're able to challenge cabals and elites and so forth. So these conversations have got to keep happening, brother. Absolutely.
I'm wondering about the output and the lyricism and the filmmakers and the artists, the graphic artists. I'm excited about what's gonna be the next epoch of art now, because this is huge. The idea of isolation, what's that gonna do for an artist? A lot of us are quite proud of the fact that we isolate and I'm in the lab now, and I'm in the lab and I'm doing my shit in the lab. Now we're all in the lab. Let's see how that really works.
What pans out. Absolutely. And also just the opportunity to have more time to meditate and just draw into yourself and actually get yourself spiritually aligned. Because whatever happens next, if the mark of the beast is about to be implanted in us post 5G's rollout, just to be spiritually right wouldn't hurt. And if it doesn't happen, well, you've done no harm just meditating and focusing on and getting your equilibrium sorted, That's so valuable. Well, bro, I'm going to start out, but go ahead.
My dude, I was just going to say I'm not there yet. I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah, please.
I'm still confused right now as to what's really happening. Do you know what I mean? I find it really difficult to listen to everything that they're saying on the news and take it all. The pinch of salt. I've been dashing enough. I've been like, this with the salt. This.
I hear you. Totally. Well, just because they've been giving us such wildly contradictory information. Like, I want you to all go out and go into the park and hug each other. And I've been shaking hands in the hospital. And now he's in the hospital with COVID-19. So one thing is clear, and I think it disproves part of the Illuminati conspiracy theory. They haven't got any clue what they're doing. They've got no plan.
Yeah.
It's all freestyling right now and not very good. The words don't even rhyme. Shoot.
I can't imagine you doing a bad freestyle Soweto. I really couldn't.
Oh, the government is. That's what we're saying. Matt Hancock is flopping his bars right now. But bro, I'm gonna scoot on and get on with the live portion of the show. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, tell me.
Please go ahead.
My absolute pleasure, brother. How can I check out the rest of the show?
So I did send you some links. I'm gonna read them out now for the benefit. Of anyone who doesn't know. But if you're watching this, then you've already kind of got it. They are youtube.com/user/SowetoK/live, or Facebook's. If you go to Facebook, it should be on my Soweto Kinch official page. Facebook.com/Soweto Kinch official page. And of course, I'm going to be posting all this to YouTube soon afterwards. But I'm going to get into some music. You know what I mean? That's
all right, my brother. I'm going to be listening.
Yes. God bless you.
Much love, brother.
Peace. Yeah.
Peace.
Well, that was my brother Johnsy D in the place to be. I don't know why I went into 1980s rap style just then, but he's an incredibly talented choreographer, MC, poet, creative force, really, and it's good to connect with kindred spirits at this time. As I said, I'm going to get right into some live streaming, some live music, and while I set that up, I'm also going to, like I did before, play you. Here's one that I made earlier. And if you feel like you're in a Babylon right now, I was channeling some roots reggae when I wrote this. So, you know, shack out in your living rooms, wherever you at, and enjoy.
I guess it's probably 5 years too early for her at the moment.
No,
Jeremy Corbyn.
I've seen you. Okay, let's go. No. I hope you can hear me nice and clear. I'm going to continue on with these beats as a theme. There's 14 people watching, but now it's a really important message I got for you. If you want to get interactive, then head over to the Facebook group, Lockdown Sessions. Unfortunately, there isn't a way that I can screen grab your comments in real time from YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Or maybe I'll work that out in future weeks. If you go to Facebook, click on that Ecamm link and allow permissions, then at the very end of this show, I'm going to go on a 5-minute freestyle quest and interact with as many comments live. But that'll mean I'll be logging out of the YouTube stream and straight into the YouTube. Just straight into the Facebook even. So this next piece, I'm going to play through some beats that I've been making during the lockdown, and with the spirit of joy, hopefully, as contradictory as that might seem. It's important to remember joy. So this one is called Happiness. Just want to make sure it's all connected nice. Check it out. One. Let's go. nice and bright. I'm getting a lot of people telling me the saxophone's a bit quiet, so hopefully this will be a bit louder. This next piece that I'm going to play, be the final one. I'm going to call it Shifts. And it's so new, as you can probably tell. I don't even know the changes yet. So this is going to be fun. This is a brand new thing called Shifts. Let's go. People, I can't see you, but I can feel your energy. Can I? Thank you so much. I'm gonna make this announcement right now before playing the last song for everyone on the feed.
you want to join in this momentous freestyle, which will be the first ever, please go along to the Facebook group, Soweto Kinch official page. I know I'm sometimes terrible at advertising what the specific links and pages are, but I'm just testing this out. So if it goes well, I'm going to make way more of a fuss about this in the future. Please go to Facebook, Soweto Kinch official page, and yeah, you can see the live stream and be linked into the comments. But before I get into any of that, which means I'm going to have to log out and re-log back in, I am going to, what's going on here? I'm going to play one more tune, and I really hope you dig it. Yeah, what to do? As you can tell, I've been making a whole lot of beats and just Jeez. Oh, why are you messing with me? Damn. Alright, I'm gonna need to go back with that. Boom. And previous. Live stream that I wanted to do last week.
we're gonna be hiding out in. Even though the sweat droplets are dripping down my forehead right now. I'm feeling great. Please head along to the Facebook page, World Kids Official.